Hi, I'm Johnny and you're watching the Hexy Beast, and I'm back after my post UK Games Expo break to bring you a review of this game right here, Calico from Flat Out Games and published by AEG in the UK. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's just get on with it, shall we? Okay, so let's get a look at the back of the box. Calico is a gorgeous spatial puzzle game for the whole family. Players are quilters competing to create the coziest, most beautiful quilts. Turns are simple. Sew patches into your quilt by drafting and placing tiles onto your personal board. Earn victory points by sewing on buttons, fulfilling your design goals and attracting cuddly cats to curl up on your quilt. So anyway, I'm just going to do a quick overview of how the game plays and let's get on with it. Okay, so this is Calico, and the way Calico works is that each turn you're going to be placing one of these tiles from your hand, and then you're going to be drawing one of these tiles from the offer, and basically whatever you draw, the one furthest away from the bag will get discarded, and then another 2 tokens will get drawn out before it. The way you score points in Calico is by placing tiles on your board to make certain patterns. If you make patterns with colours, you're going to get buttons, which is what this token means. So if I got like 3 purple tiles next to each other, I'll get one of those mushroom buttons. Another way you can score points is by matching the patterns on the cats. Cats are colourblind, so colour doesn't really matter for them, but patterns do. So for example, if I wanted to score this Millie card, I would need at least 3 tiles of either the dotty pattern or the plant pattern in order to score it. Also, at the start of a game, you're going to be choosing 3 of these goals for your player. They basically work like poker hands. So for example, if we take a look at this token right here, as you can see, it's 3 of a kind. And the way they work is that if you score either colour or pattern, you'll get the blue value. If you manage to do the goal with both, you'll get the yellow value. So the best way to make points is to try and beat those goals, but you'll see quite quickly that it's not actually that easy. Okay, so let's go through a turn now. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this blue plant token, and I think my best place to put it would be by here. As you can see, there's tiles also around the edge of the player board. So this being a blue plant and this being a blue plant gives me the potential to not only score its button, but I might actually be able to get a cat on this one as well, as Millie only needs 3 plants in order to be placed. So after we've done that, what we would do is we would choose a tile from up top. And I think the one I'm going to take is actually going to be this plant, this yellow plant here. Now, what will happen is anything apart from the one furthest away from the bag will get discarded. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw another 2 tokens from the bag. And this time we've got a red plant and a purple vine. Wow. Okay, so on this turn, I think I'm actually going to place this yellow plant tile by here, which, if you've noticed, has actually made a pattern of 3 different vines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Millie token and put it on there to represent that I've actually managed to connect them all up and get the patterns that Millie likes and has come over for a little nap on our quilt. So one thing to bear in mind when you're scoring these patterns or colours is that you can't really join them up. So say if I was to put another vine here and by here and then by here, it wouldn't actually give me another cat because they're actually connected. The only way to score another Millie would be to have a tile between the next group of 3 in that pattern. So the tile I'm going to draft this time is actually going to be this purple one here. And the reason I'm drafting the dot instead of the vines here is because, if you remember, when they get discarded, the one furthest away will get discarded. And I think I could use that other purple to try and make a pattern on here to get a button. So I've taken that, this will go up here, that will get discarded, and then we have another 2 tokens from the bag. So let's see what we got. We got a blue flowers and a red flowers. Nice. Okay, so looking here, in order for me to get that purple button, I might want to start somewhere either here, 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 or here. I'm actually going to choose this by here because we might be able to get another Millie token if we can find some more dots. And the tile I'm going to draft, obviously, is going to be this other purple, which is going to get us the button next turn. So this blue is going to get discarded, and we're going to draw another 2 tokens from the bag. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this purple by here. It doesn't really match up with anything else, but as you can see, we have 3 purples in a group, which will actually get us this mushroom button, which is nice. I like having buttons. Lots of buttons are really good. If you get one of each type of button, you will also get one of these swanky new rainbow buttons. Each button is worth 3 points at the end of the game. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly explain how the goal tiles work. So as you can see, I explained earlier on, that these kind of work like poker hands. So in this situation, we have actually completed the goal, but only in its blue form. because we have 2 of these vine patterns. Notice we've also got 3 of them by there, so we're going to get another cat there. We've also got 4 of these flowery patterns on the outside, but as you can see they're all different colours, so we're not going to score the yellow value. So in order to score that yellow value, if these were all the same colour, or there was only 2 colours in the actual pattern but 4 of them were one and 2 of them were the other, and we still managed to get 2 patterns in that same configuration, we would actually score 14 points as opposed to the 7. So it's often worth chasing the colours as well as those patterns. Also, as I mentioned, we've got another melee button here because I've joined them patterns up, and we actually have another blue button here because we've connected a couple of blue tiles. And basically turns would keep going the way as I described until the whole board is full, at which point the game will end and you will score up. You will score for the cats on your board. You will also score for the buttons on your board and the goals you complete. Okay, so what I've shown you here is just the base game being played solo, but the game itself actually comes with a load of scenarios. So for example, in this one, the goal is to get a rainbow button and have 58 points by the end of the game. It will also tell you which goals to start with and what cats to use. So it basically has a really nice achievement system going through. There's plenty of scenarios to work through. So anyway, let's just get on with the scoring. Okay, so this brings us on to our first category, which as always is aesthetics, and I personally think the game looks beautiful. The art by Beth Sobel, as in everything she does pretty much, is golden. I just think she has a really good ability when it comes to drawing animals, and the cats in this game are no exception. The tiles themselves are nice and bright and colourful, and the patterns are really easy to see. So for that reason I couldn't really find any problem with the art. In fact, I would say the art is the main selling point of this game. It's very good to look at, so for that reason I've decided to give it a 9 out of 10 in aesthetics. Okay, so that brings us on to the next category, which is gameplay, and I just want to say that although I quite enjoy the game and I think it's a perfect little half-hour puzzle game, I can understand that some gamers might find it not quite as complex as they would like. So for that reason I've decided to give the gameplay a 7 out of 10. It's nice, it's short, it's pretty crunchy if you don't quite get the tiles you want and you're really having to work out the puzzle. And those scenarios in the book really do add more to it when you're playing solo. I just can't see it being that challenging and that interesting to some gamers that like their games to be a lot more complex. It's a nice little puzzle, and that's why I've decided to give it 7 out of 10 in gameplay. Okay, so that brings us on to accessibility, and I just have to say, just because of its simple turn structure and the way it plays and how simple it is to actually learn, it's actually going to get a 9 out of 10 in the accessibility score. It is really as simple as put one tile down and pick one up. In fact, that's pretty much how you would teach the game to someone else. And as a solo game, that simplicity is really something that helps, especially new solo gamers, get into the game. So for that reason, the accessibility score had to be really high. I couldn't really give it anything less because, like I said, that simplicity really does help. There's a lot of variety in the game, and I think that in order to change up how the game plays, it doesn't take a lot of tweaking. It's also another reason why it scored high in accessibility. So like I said, for its simple draw a tile, place a tile, draft a tile, it's very much an easy game to get playing, which is why it scored a 9 in accessibility. So that gives Calico a total score of 8 out of 10. It's a really enjoyable, quick puzzle game that I'm looking to getting out between other games. Like I said, there may not be a lot there for people who like more complex games, but for someone like me who sometimes doesn't really have a lot of time to play these longer games, something like Calico actually stays under my desk where I'm able to get out quite quickly and play it on a smaller table. So that's why this game has got an 8 out of 10. If you've been enjoying the content or just like any of the games you see here, please feel free to smash that subscribe button up there and check out another one of my videos below here. Anyway, I've been Johnny, you've been watching the Hexy Beast, thank you for watching, and most of all, stay Hexy everyone!